I have been to a lot of counseling. I've been to counseling for myself personally, but I've also done quite a bit of marriage counseling. And I like to think that I have a pretty incredible and strong marriage because Matt and I have put in the work. We've gone to counseling, we've done the hard stuff, we've put in the work. And one of our counselors, a great thing that I learned from him is the phrase, listen to understand. You see, often when we would go to counseling, it was because something had come up and maybe there was a hurt or a frustration or we were angry about something. And we had to learn to listen to understand. Because in those moments when you're really hurt and you're really angry and frustrated, you're not often listening to the other person and really listening to what they have to say. You're listening for where to insert your next argument. Or you're kind of listening, but you're listening just enough so you know how to refute, or rebut what somebody's saying. You're not actually listening to understand. Because when you listen to understand, you're trying to hear the person's heart, and maybe they're hurt. And that's where validating comes in. And that's really important. When somebody is hurting or they're upset or frustrating, is to validate them. That doesn't always mean that you agree with them. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you think they're right. But you're going to validate what somebody else feels, because what they feel is legitimate and true and right and real. So listening to understand. And we all know what's going on in the world right now. And I am documenting all of these Paula's Pantry posts, right? They're all on Facebook. They're all going to be digital. They're on YouTube right now. They're on Instagram. One day in the future, my grandkids might look back and watch these and think they have a really weird Nana. But years from now, decades from now, if anybody were to watch this, they're not going to know what is happening in the world right now. They're not going to know about the injustices and the frustration and the anger and the hurt. We do, because we're in it right now. And that's why I think listening to understand is so important. Because if I sit down with you, if I sit down with somebody, I need to listen to understand. I don't need to listen to figure out what my next argument is. I don't need to listen to figure out what a rebuttal would be or an excuse would be. We just need to listen to understand. Because the only way I have the marriage that I do today is because even when it was hard to hear, Matt and I needed to listen to each other. We needed to hear each other's heart and acknowledge what the other person was feeling and validate that and just really listen. So things right now are really tough and scary. They just are. And I'm realizing as I'm talking to some of my wonderful and beautiful friends that something that often impacts how we look at things is where we live, how we live, our upbringing, right? All those things impact, right? But if I just continue to listen to understand, I'm going to listen to you to try and understand. My dog's not so good at that, but yeah. So if you need to, make yourself another cup of coffee or a cup of tea. If you need to just stay in your pajamas all day, you stay in your pajamas all day. And if you need to talk, feel free to reach out, because I will do my best just to listen and understand, because sometimes we just need someone to hear us and listen to us and validate us. So I see you and I hear you and I love you.